As I was scrolling through Goodreads, I realized that I basically share the same name with many bigger, well-known authors, which gave me an idea. Since my TBR is never ending, I thought it'd be fun to pick out just a few books written by authors that share the same name as me. And now, for those of you who don't know, my name is spelled a little bit differently. My name is spelled Rebecca with an R-A instead of an R-E, like the author's books that I'll be reading in this video. And now, just by holding up these books, I think most of you could probably tell what at least one of the books I will be reading in this video is going to be. However, the first book we're going to be starting this video off with is going to be Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. And now, can we just take a moment for what's underneath the dust jacket? So pretty. So Divine Rivals is actually the first book of a duology called Letters of Enchantment. And honestly, fun fact about me, I kind of like to go into books blindly, so I really don't know too much about this book, but I do want to read the synopsis before I start. So it says, after centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again, but 18-year-old Iris Winnow just wants to hold her family together. Her mother is suffering from addiction and her brother is missing from the front lines. Her best bet is to win the columnist promotion of Oath Gazette. To combat her worries, Iris writes letters to her brother and slips them beneath her wardrobe door, where they vanish, into the hands of a Roman Kit, her cold and handsome rival at the paper. Ooh, okay, the thing underneath the dust jacket makes sense now. When he anonymously writes Iris back, the two of them forge a connection that will follow Iris all the way to the front lines of battle for her brother, the faith of mankind, and love. Okay, I'm excited. We've got a beautiful cover, a fun synopsis. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so as you saw, I started Divine Rivals, and I actually listened to a lot of it on audiobook since I did just get home from school. But I'm actually now on part 2, which is page 100. Oh my god. I just have to say, there has been so much hype around this book. And you know, sometimes when books are super hyped up, they don't live up to their standards. This book is living up to the standards that I didn't even know that I had. I'm loving it. So far, we've gotten point of views from our two main characters, which is Iris and Rowan, and basically two, I don't know, world places. I don't really know what the right term is, I suppose. Basically, there is a war between gods happening, and Iris's brother goes out to the front lines to fight, and they haven't really heard anything back from him in quite some time. And I have a feeling that we're gonna get more of that storyline in the part 2, as the part 2 is called News from Afar. But I was curious to know why the series was called Letters of Enchantment. But basically, anytime that Iris writes a letter and she slips it in her closet, it disappears. And for about 3 months, she can't really tell where they're going, who they're going to. She doesn't really know anything. However, we know that it is going to her enemy. So Iris really starts to open up, and although she never really says it's her, he can tell that it's her just because of the things that she's saying and how she's writing it. And I am obsessed with letters. I keep every single one of the letters that anyone has ever given to me. I used to write letters to my friends. All I want to do right now is sit down, watch the sunset, and read this book. I want to finish it tonight. I really do. Is it going to happen? No, because I have this thing called homework. I thought that this was going to be really confusing and I wasn't going to understand anything, and I just can't get enough. I literally cannot get enough. Okay, seriously, somebody explain to me why I would read this book when I could read this book. But no, this is also my current read. So far, 10 out of 10. Incredible. I love it so much. Cannot wait to pick it back up. Alrighty, bit of a book update for y'all. I am now on chapter 33, and I'm now in part 3 of the book. I still have a little bit left. But so much has happened since I last talked to you guys. And obviously I don't want to say too much because this vlog is spoiler free, but I will say this part is in the summary. The letters between Roman and Iris is just so cute. And Roman has figured out that he's writing to Iris, but she still doesn't know that. So I'm wondering if that's going to be revealed in this book or in the next book, and how exactly that's going to be revealed. But the tension between the two. But quite literally right where I left off, something major happened in the plot, which I think might change a little bit of the direction that this book was going to go into. Obviously, I won't say what it is, but I think this is also going to be the event that brings them closer together and makes them realize, hey, you guys have feelings for each other. Stop acting like idiots. I love it, and I just want to read more right now. Alrighty, y'all, I have finished book number 1 of this video. So many thoughts. Usually when I finish a book, I sit on it for a few hours or a few days even, just to really determine how I felt about the book. But I will tell you one thing, I already know what my rating is for this book, without a doubt. This was so surprising. I thought I was going to be so confused and just not understand a single thing about it. And let me tell you, this book is absolutely incredible. From the beginning, I've absolutely adored the magical letters sent between Roman and Iris. Like I said earlier, letters have such a meaningful place in my heart. And just the way they sent it back and forth, and the reveal, and I was gonna say, I didn't really have too big of a prediction for the ending. I kind of had a feeling that a character was going to come back into play somehow, but now I'm awfully confused. And the epilogue? Yeah. I'm very conflicted. I think that I have to go into book 2 like right now. I legitimately have so much homework to get done, but I had to finish this book first. I loved the enemies to lovers. I loved how Iris took risks and went out on the front lines basically by herself with so much danger and unknown out there. It had me laughing, it had me tearing up at the end, that's for sure. It was so cute, but also such high stakes. So if you couldn't tell already, this is 1000% a 5-star read, and I will be starting Ruthless Vows as soon as possible. 10 out of 10. I'm so happy I read this. But with that being said, it is time to choose our next book off of the TBR cart. And as you can see, my TBR cart is pretty full, so we have a few different options that I could choose up next. And honestly, I think I'm gonna choose the one that I'm most scared for last and go with a fun little fluffy romance. Excuse me, did I just say fluffy romance? At least I think it's a fun little fluffy romance. So the next book that I'm going to be reading by another Rebecca author is going to be Rebecca Searle's book, In 5 Years. Now, I gotta say, when I picked up this book, I did order it online and did not realize that it was 251 pages. This is probably one of the shortest books that I'll ever read. But a little backstory on why I decided to pick up one of her books. My boyfriend picked me out a whole bunch of books to read, and one of them was When You Were Mine by Rebecca Searle. And my expectations were so low for that book, and it became one of my favorite books that I have ever read. It is a complete 6-star read for me. I adore it with every part of my heart. I love it so much, which made me want to pick up another one of her books. So before I start it, let's read the back of the book. It says, Dani Cohen lives her life by numbers. She is nothing like her lifelong best friend, the wild, whimsical, believes in fate Bella. Dani's meticulous planning seems to have paid off after she nails the most important job interview of her career and accepts her boyfriend's marriage in one fell swoop, falling asleep completely content. But when she awakes, she's suddenly in a different apartment with a different ring on her finger and beside a very different man. Sounds very interesting. Dani spends exactly 1 hour, 5 years in the future before she wakes again in her own home in the brink of midnight. And it is 1 hour she cannot shake. I kind of picked up this book on a whim, and I think it's gonna pay off because I'm very intrigued. Plus it's a romance, and a short one at that, so let's get reading, shall we? Okay, I know I'm literally 10 pages in, but I love when the title of the book is inside the book and like when a character says it or thinks it and it actually really means something. But literally on page 10, it says, "And then he asked me the proverbial question, the one you always prepare for because they always ask, where do you see yourself in 5 years?" And without getting into it too much, I feel like it's so coincidental that I'm reading this book right now. I just kind of asked myself that same question. And I feel like life never really goes as you plan it. Nothing is ever perfect. There is no such thing as perfection. But I'm on page 10 and I'm already really enjoying this book, so I'm so excited. I know my opinion might change because I'm 10 pages into the book. I feel like I might relate to it a bit. What did I just read? I just finished chapter 36. We were doing so good up until then. Also, what was I saying about this being a light, fluffy romance?
Fun little fluffy romance.
Because, nope, no light, fluffy anything around here. Okay. Now, obviously, this far into the book, I can't really say exactly what happened. Was it already kind of predicted in, like, the first few chapters? Yeah. I have roughly 25 pages left, so my plan is to finish this book tonight. Now I'm very conflicted on where I stand because Danny, our main character, kind of just got to like a breaking point and a major thing just happened and then another thing just happened. But that little thing is something that I don't like in books, like at all. So I think I'm just gonna finish off this book and then give my final thoughts because right now I don't know how to feel. I'm extremely conflicted. None of this should be happening. That's exactly right. Okay, I still don't like where this is going, but I don't know how to feel. Okay, you're fine. You're fine. You're gonna be okay. I don't like the one event that just happened, and I know what's about to happen. At least one of the things that's about to happen. And will I cry? Probably. Light, fluffy romance, huh? Yep. Gonna need a minute on that one. I have finished book number 2 of this video, In 5 Years by Rebecca Serle. Now, this is not what I thought this book was going to be. I love how this book is literally 250 pages. Like, it's so short, you could fly through it as soon as you sit down to read it. And also the chapters are so short, like they're between like 2 and like 7 pages. Super, super short, super fast paced. And overall, I love the general storyline behind it of how you never know how your life is gonna go in 5 years. And if you were to predict that, would you still do the same things leading up to that moment? There is a pretty big storyline in this that is not on the back of the book, so I'm not gonna spoil it for y'all. But that I was not expecting, and that really, really broke my heart. And then the one thing at the end, just really, like, if we could just get rid of page 225 and 226. Beautiful book. Love it. But that just threw me off because, no. I really don't know what I'm going to rate this book because in a lot of aspects it was really good. I loved the overall message of it, and the storyline with her best friend Bella was so heartbreaking and good, and I love that. But then the last like 3 chapters, how did we get there? And then obviously from the start of the book to the end of the book, there's 5 years time. But you basically skip about the first 4 years after about a day or 2. So that's also a little bit confusing. Part of me wants to give it like 4 stars, but another part of me wants to give it 2, if that makes sense. I don't know, I might have to sit on my rating for this book until the end of the video, because honestly, I'm really not sure. I've finally started the one and only Fourth Wing. Also, if my voice sounds a little bit hoarse, it's because I'm still just getting over being sick, so I haven't done an update yet. But I have started it, and I have some fun little updates. So I've made it to chapter 9, which is page 114. And I will say, like, so far we've gotten a lot of the world building, a lot of the different quadrants. We've been introduced to quite a few people so far. But before going into this, I didn't even know why it was called Fourth Wing, and now I know. I am eating up this book. I have been listening to the audiobook to this all day because she's a thick one, okay? And I'm a busy college student, so unfortunately I don't have as much time to read as I wish I did. But even in this little section, I feel like I've gotten so much out of this book. I am loving Violet, who is our main character. She is so fun and feisty, and she does not care that she is seen as like a weakling or like treated unfairly because she is the commanding general's daughter, which I love that for her. So far in the book, we've learned that Violet, her entire life, all she wanted to do is going to the scribe quadrant, which mostly deals with books and history, and that's just her sort of thing. Until her mother says, nope, actually, you're gonna be a dragon rider. Everything kind of changes, and that's where I'm kind of at right now. We have met Xaden, who I've heard so much about. We're just being introduced to him, and he's just kind of meeting Violet. And by meeting, I mean wanting to kind of take out and fight. Same thing. Okay, enough talking. I'm going to dive right back into this book because it's just so good. And I'll give you guys another update when I get through another chunk of this. It might take me a little bit. It is now quite a few days later, and I am now over halfway done with Fourth Wing, which is so bittersweet because I feel good that I'm this far into the book, but at the same time, I am eating up every little bit of this book, and it's making me so sad that I'm gonna be done with it probably pretty soon. But I have another 2 books of hers to read after this, so I'm not that sad yet. So, like I said earlier, I am a very, very busy college girl, so getting through a book like this, I have a little bit of help from my audiobook. And I gotta say, going to and from school today, I was listening to Fourth Wing. I was giggling in the car. We've kind of just got a few itty bitty little baby sprinkles of the romance that's kind of kicking into the storyline. I am now on page 346, which is chapter 28. There's a lot going on. There's very high stakes, I must say. I love our main character Violet, and I also love how she's growing as a character, like from the very start of the book up until now. And like I said, I still have so much left of this book. Xaden is such a jerk, but there's been so many moments, particularly with him, that has made me laugh out loud. If you know what I mean by oranges, oh my god, I was laughing so hard. The fact that I will have probably 4 books after this to read in this series. Okay, I need to focus here. I need to put the book down, do some homework, and I'll get back to you guys in a little bit.
Later.
What just happened? I'm at an actual loss of words here. So I was listening to the audiobook, and I was planning on filming my reaction to the very end of this book because I still have 40 minutes left of the audiobook. And then I get a plot twist, and I hear the words, "the end." I just finished Fourth Wing. What? That's where we're gonna leave off? That is where we're gonna leave off. Can you tell I have absolutely no words? No, that cannot be the end. Ugh, what am I supposed to do now? I'm going to attempt to collect my thoughts. What did I do to myself? Why do I do this? Why did I do this to myself? Oh man, time to contemplate all life decisions. Alrighty, well, this video has been an absolute whirlwind. I almost just dropped those books. And it's been about a week since I finished Fourth Wing, and I think I finally have collected all of my thoughts on it, but I figured I'd go through all of the books that I read in this video and give my final ratings and reviews. First up, I read Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross and wound up giving it a 5 stars. I finished this book so quickly and I adored it. The writing style, the fantasy world, the romance. I literally want to reread it now. Everything about this book is absolutely perfect, and I love it with all of my heart. And then flipping a switch a little bit, I read In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle, and it's like a 250-page book. I didn't have super high expectations for it, but the expectations I did have were crushed about 40 pages in. The overall plot was promising, and I liked the way that it could have gone. And then we got to the second half, and things went very south very quickly. The cover's cute, the premise could have been cute, and this was in no way a light and fluffy romance. This was the opposite of that, quite frankly. I'd probably give it like a 2-star. That might be a little generous. And lastly, we went out with a bang and read the one and only Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, which is part of the Empyrean series, I think. I didn't intentionally do it that way, but I started off the video with a 5-star and ended it off with another 5-star read. The itch that I have to go into the rest of the series is so strong. I fell for this book so hard. I think I can say I'm obsessed with it now. I also wanted to mention that I loved how each of the chapters started out with like a little quote from somebody or something from the Book of Brennan, or just little things to begin the chapter and kind of give you a little kickoff into what to expect. So here are the books that I have read, written by authors with the same name as me. Honestly, I am thoroughly shocked at the fact that I love 4 out of the 5 books. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I thought it was a little bit outside the box, and I had a lot of fun filming it. If you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It will really help me out. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.